welcome. We are here at Baker Creek in their, what do we call this? Our like little test,
like a little test garden.
Yep, this is our display garden. Folks that come into our seed store can come and see some of our varieties actually growing in our display garden. So this is how we get to show off some of our favorite varieties and the things we love the most.
And today we're going to be talking about beets.
Beets.
Because you can't beat a good beet.
Never.
Not possible.
It is my favorite by far. I think pretty much all the different kind of beets are my favorite, so I'm very happy to do this right now.
So we're going to go through several varieties, and then we're going to also give you guys a little agricultural tips, like how you can use it for fodder and feed for your animals, and up till recently it was a huge thing to do. And then we're also going to talk about some of the ways you can cook it or use it in other different ways.
Yeah, so this is, we have a little medley of beets here, just a sampling of everything that really represents beets in general. So first we've got our fodder beets. This is a variety called Mammoth Red Mangle.
And it's over 6'3" this one beet.
Yeah, so
yeah, it was when they first took it out of the ground, and I mean it's huge. It's like, how much? He said it was like 45 pounds.
Yes, this has been our giant beet growing endeavor. So this is over 6'2".
6'2".
Yeah, it's lost a little. We lost a little bit of the root in harvesting.
That's what happens when we age.
Yeah, it's starting to
They
shrink.
lost an
Exactly,
inch.
it's a little bit older. So it's huge, and this has been dates back to the 1800s, and it's it was a popular fodder crop because before, well, in tandem with grains, also root crops like beets, turnips, and carrots were a big part of livestock diet. So
yeah, for feeding to your horses or cows or even your chickens.
you can feed them to your chickens, you can feed them to goats.
And with the chickens, it'll even last a long time because when you cut them up, then they can just be pecking on it.
A lot of folks will actually tie a string around the entire beet hole, and they'll hang it in their chicken house, and it's highly entertaining for chickens. It keeps them entertained in the coop, and it'll last for quite a long time. So that's most typically how you'll see it, is tied up with some twine hanging in the chicken house. It's also great for older horses. I have horses, and when your horse gets a lot older, they start to grind down their teeth.
Right.
And beet pulp is excellent for an older horse, so it's got a lot of uses. One thing to be aware of is it can have an effect on male animals. It can have a slight estrogen effect, so maybe just use it for your female animals or just give it in moderation to male animals. So then we've got giant yellow Eckendorf, and this is another giant variety, and these were really popular in Europe before the advent of the highly mechanized farm, and they were just the addition to a small homestead. You could grow your own animal feed.
Right.
And they're incredibly useful today, and humans can eat these when they're small. You can harvest some small and let some get bigger and save them for your animals.
Yeah, and then so if you had a whole area where you grew these, I mean that's a ton of feed.
Yeah, this will go a long way.
Literally.
Especially, yep, absolutely. So moving on, we'll move away from the fodder beets and to some of my favorite culinary varieties. So this is one of my favorites. It's called Kyogia. Yeah, with those stripes.
One of my favorites too.
It's beautiful, thin sliced. I slice this with a mandolin or just really thin sliced with a knife. These are great raw in salads. They're also excellent cooked, but this is my favorite for eating raw in a salad. And the presentation is
It's
stunning.
gorgeous. Oh, it is. It is. I know.
Yeah.
I love it. That's like my new favorite one. That's what I planted this year.
Yeah, these hail from a small fishing town in Italy, and they just have that great flavor. They have that great beet flavor, but they're not overly earthy. They're a little bit lower in the geosmin. Yeah, geosmin is the actual compound that gives them their earthy flavor.
Okay.
Which is great stuff, but if you're new to eating beets, you might want to try Kyogia because it's just a bit more mild. This is a variety called McGregor's Favorite. It's actually, it's a nice long slender
It's kind of
beet.
carroty.
It's a beet carrot.
Yeah, it's great. What I found is that these long slender varieties are great for juicing because a little bit less of the preparation, you just feed it right through the juicer.
And this is a young one. They can get much bigger, can't they?
They'll get much longer. But what I love about McGregor's Favorite and why it was really developed all those years ago was for the beautiful silvery metallic beet tops. And don't forget, guys, that beet greens are super nutritious, and you should never toss them.
Don't cut those greens off, yeah, because so many people do. They just eat the beet part. This is amazing. It is one of the top foods in potassium. And potassium is a mineral that is so important that we need. It's vital. So use your greens, cut them up, put them in your salads, juice them. It's amazing.
Smoothies, yeah, all that.
Great for eating raw too. Really good raw.
Yeah.
So for those who are really new to eating beets and maybe don't care for the very strong earthy flavor, we have the golden beet.
Very mild.
Very mild, beautiful on the inside, pairs really well with darker beets if you want to have a nice contrast. Roasted, these are excellent roasted with a drizzle of honey, fantastic. But I really find that these just pair really nicely on a plate or shaved in a salad. They're really great raw as well.
And I have a really good golden beet and barley salad that I make. And they make it cold and it's so good.
Golden beets and barley, that sounds like a great combination. And then we do have some darker beet varieties. If you're looking for the most potent, dark, red, purple,
that's my other favorite one.
bull's blood. The tops are incredibly dark. The roots are incredibly dark. Be careful, be ready for this to stain.
Yeah, everything.
Everything, because it will stain, but it's incredibly good for you. It's super high in beta carotene.
And it's a blood purifier. All beets are blood purifiers. They're very, very good for your body.
And all beets are extremely high in fiber, great for digestion, and they have anti-inflammatory qualities. They're just generally considered superfood.
Superfood. Superfood.
Super.
Yeah, and use the whole thing.
Yep, and so guys, don't forget to use the whole thing when you're cooking your beets.
Right, from leaves to bottom.
Yep. And then we have Flat of Egypt. So this one was actually, this one is near and dear to my heart because it was developed specifically for market gardening. So for you market gardeners out there, you might want to try the Flat of Egypt. It's really uniform. When you polish this thing up, when you rinse the dirt off of this variety, it's incredibly shiny and it's just got that perfect quality to it that you really want for a market variety.
And I planted some for the first time this year, and they're looking really good.
They're great, and they're super fine grained, so they're extra gourmet, but they also just look great on the market table, and they're very productive. So for you market farmers out there, Flat of Egypt, and it was actually developed in the 1800s outside of Boston for its exceptional market quality. So it's a good one.
Cool. And
another really dark purple variety from Switzerland. So I love beets. They're steeped in history. They're incredibly good for you. Fior Kugel. Yep, this one's from Switzerland. And this is another one that's super dark, but I like the kind of rings that it has.
Yeah,
it's got
pretty,
nice color. So I guess, and then we've got albino beets. The white ones are extra super sweet. They were also, this can be used to make sugar, which is pretty cool. So if you want to try making your own beet sugar at home, but really these are just super duper sweet. Thin sliced in a salad raw, they're really nice.
And so now we're actually going to bust one of these open with the saw.
oh boy.
This is about what you need to cut one of these open. Woo!
Not too fast now, you're going to cut the table in half.
Beautiful.
And then we'll get this other one done and we'll show the inside to you.
The animals are going to love this.
Yeah, look at that.
Remember how we talked about how this was high in fiber? I think that is apparent. Wow. Yum.
Yeah, look at that.
So Stacy, do you know how the history of the mango beet?
No, let me know. And
All right.
Where does it come from? Original, where does it come from?
Well, mango beets come from Europe, and specifically in Scotland, it was actually a popular game. These giant mango beets were actually used in a game, a competition where they would toss the beet and see who could throw it the farthest. So should we give it a try?
Are you
Should we have
ready?
a competition? All right.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Ah! Woo! I don't know who won. I think it was a tie. So let's talk a little bit about planting beets. Let's check out the seeds first and foremost. These seeds are actually several These are a few seeds fused into one, so you'll be thinning these out when they germinate because they're going to be a cluster of seedlings. Beets are so easy to grow. That's why they're one of my favorite to try.
Simple. Yeah, they are so easy. And there aren't many pests either.
Nope, they're virtually pest-free. They're very cold hardy, but they can also handle quite a bit of heat in the summer. The only time that the germination is going to be spotty is if you were to try to sow them in the very, very cold, or if you were to try to sow them in the very, very hot. But aside from pretty extreme temperature swings, you're going to have great germination with beets, and they mature fairly easily, and they're not really prone to bolting. So easy peasy, you can grow them. We're going to sow a few in a line here, just a few inches apart, and you're going to thin them to about between 3 and 4 inches apart to give them some space, maybe a little bit more, and just about a ½ inch deep. But you can grow them in rows. You can even stick them kind of in empty spaces you have in the garden.
Like companion planting.
Good companion plant. And I always plant beets in successions because I like to have a continuous harvest throughout the season. So I will plant beets about 14 to 21 days apart throughout the season. So every about 2-3 weeks, I will put a new succession of beets in.
And they're really good in containers too.
They're easy
grow
in
great,
containers,
and they
yeah.
look beautiful. The greens look beautiful.
For a root crop, they're not particularly picky about their soil conditions, unlike carrots. They're pretty versatile when it comes to what they could take for soil. They're maybe not going to love a super heavy clay soil, but that could be easily amended with some well-rotted compost. Keep them well watered, especially when they're germinating. Beets are very easy to grow, and like I said, make sure and grow them in succession so you have a long season. I like to grow them in succession because I'm always using them in my kitchen.
All the time. I know this is your favorite and it's my favorite too. It's just amazing, and there's so many different varieties to choose from. It's exciting every year to try a couple different new varieties.
Yeah, we have the striped beets here, the Chioggia from Italy. We have golden beets. We've talked about a whole medley of different colors, and they all have a range of flavors, but
and cooking with them is just amazing. Especially, you can just get a beet and slice it up, and you can go ahead and just like grill it, flip it over like a pancake and eat it that way.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Simple, grilled. I make beet burgers where I shave them, I mix them with chickpeas and other spices, a little apple cider vinegar, and I just throw them on the grill. They're really hearty burger. But I love to pickle them. You can harvest them young, whole, and pickle them. You can slice
Ferment them.
Yep, they can be fermented. They make a kraut.
Using them for colors,
versatile.
using them in your food.
Yep, they make a great natural food dye.
That's a wrap. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video about beets. Just remember there's many varieties of everything you grow in your garden, so try to reach outside the box a little bit and grow something maybe that you've never grown before. A great resource is the rareseeds.com catalog, where they have over 1,000 varieties of heirloom seeds and something that you could grow maybe for the first time. You could always follow our adventures, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Gardening is fun. It's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding, and it's always something when you can actually eat something that you've grown with your own hands. So we'll see you guys on the next video.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. You might want to check out these videos.
And if you want to become a Homestead homie, click the picture of us below.
We will see you tomorrow.